Hello, it's John Longcroft-Neal here again. Vlog number 24, I do believe. I really am enjoying this, and thank you very much for the comments that you've popped in. There's only a very small band of people looking in with the view numbers, but it's still great to see that somebody's interested. I'm going to carry on the same sort of theme that I've been going on at the moment, and somebody, in fact Ted in South California, asked some very nice questions about what I did as a kid for fun, going to the pictures, movies. I'll try and speak English and a little bit of American as we go along. I'm going to put this in two sections. One is going to be up till I was about 10 or 11 when I changed schools from primary school to secondary school, and I also moved house shortly after that, moved from the north of Coventry to the middle of Coventry. So I'll do it in two videos, and if they go over 5 minutes, I'm not going to worry now, but I'll try and keep, and it was good to try and keep it in 5 minutes, but I don't want to rush, but I don't want to make it drag. Okay, so I lived in North Coventry in the 1950s, early 60s, and it was a semi-detached house. I'll show you pictures as we go through of what I've got. And my dad and my mum, they didn't really get on well. No, it's worse than that. They really shouldn't have even got married. In fact, they separated soon afterwards at the start of the war. But they did get back together, and they did finally divorce in the 1960s. We had this semi-detached house, and at the back was a large area of ground, which was a tip, a foundry tip. It was grassed over, so it formerly a foundry tip, and we used to play there. It was fantastic, and it was there was black sand and clumps of slag that came out the foundry. I never really understood where it was all from, but it was a great place to play. It was, like I say, it was grassed over, and there were birds and insects and all sorts of things there. Flowers. I really used to like it, and eventually my dad sold the plot of land that he bought from there. He bought a section to make the garden a lot bigger, and he sold that at a considerable profit later on. And he used to always be looking out for this sort of manoeuvre. My dad was, yeah, he used to think outside the box, as Steve Jobs would say. He used to think different, and which he never liked to work for another boss, for instance. He was always on the lookout to make not a fast buck, but yeah, he was always thinking differently. So as a kid, I used to play in this area of ground. We used to have bikes. My dad always used to have a motorbike. He built a double garage to the side, so he used to build things as well. He was an engineer in that he worked as a centre lathe turner on a machine in a factory, which I won't say he enjoyed working in a factory, he didn't. But he liked fiddling about with things, making motorbike parts. In fact, at one point, he invented and had published a motorbike pump system. So we used to play and make things, and hammers and nails and wood, and we used to make trolleys. I've got a picture of a trolley here. Not my trolley. This is what we used to, lots of kids used to have these. And we used to play on this street. Now, oddly enough, I've been back to the street, and the street was a cul-de-sac, so the traffic didn't go up and down. There wasn't much traffic anyway. In the whole street of 20 or so houses, there's about 2 cars, no more. 1 or 2 motorbikes, and everybody had a bike, and you go down the road to get the bus to go into Coventry, which was about 3 miles away. And we used to play there as kids. We used to play everything, and there's a sign there now which says no ball games. Oh, no ball games. We didn't do anything but play ball games all through the summer and winter. It was just fantastic. We used to play football, we used to play cricket, we used to play on our bikes, we used to play hide and seek, everything. It was fantastic, playing in the street. And then when it came to going further afield, we sometimes would go out on our bikes, because it was North Coventry. Once it was on the edge of the countryside, but it wasn't too far to get out and about. There were some woods and other places that we could go and enjoy as well. And we would go to the pictures, the movies, every Saturday morning in particular. and there would also be other films on, because the TV was very unreliable. And so we used to go to the pictures, which is only about half a mile away. The Lyric, it was called. That was quite popular. What else? We went on holiday, because my mum and dad were as they were. I used to go on holiday with my mum. This is in the summer holiday. And then I'd go off with my dad. With my dad, he used to go camping, which was fantastic, if not a little bit primitive. But we went to Wales and to the Lake District and to East Anglia, all sorts of places. Sometimes just wild camping in wherever we were. This is on a motorbike. We did go in a van once as well. I went to Scotland once with him in a van, but he used to like that. With my mum, we used to go to holiday camps, Butlins holiday camps, or other similar sorts of places. So I benefited in a way, because I used to have 2 holidays out, one with my mum and one with my dad. There you go. I really enjoyed being at school, primary school, for the most part. I mean, it's always a bit of a strain, of course, as a kid. But it was a good school, fairly modern one, and there was high expectations really. And the school I was in, and the class I was in, this is the one, the 4th class I was in, the last one, most of the kids there went on to the grammar school. Now the system was, and hangs on here and there was an 11+ exam. And the 11+ at this point, at the end of primary school into secondary, was supposed to select you for the best of your ability. Grammar schools, technical schools, and secondary modern schools was 3. It never really happened, because the technical schools didn't really exist in the way they thought. So it turned out to be you either passed and went to a grammar school, or failed and went to a secondary modern school, and that was the sort of way it was felt. And only about maybe 15, maybe not 20%, no, 10% would go to the grammar schools. Anyway, the class that I was in, the majority of us, about 30 or so in the class, as you could see, and only about half a dozen didn't go to the grammar school. And 3 or 4 of us from the street I was in all went to the grammar school. So then we had to take a bus, get into town, and go across town and go to the grammar school. And that was another chapter, and I'll talk about that another time. But otherwise, the friends I had in the street, there was 1 or 2 boys and girls as well. I was very friendly with a girl opposite, and we had a great time. Really enjoyed it. Probably intensely annoying to the neighbours, I don't know. But it was a good time. Anything I've missed there? No, probably that would do us for now. Do second part in a bit, in the teenage years. Okay, that'll do us for now. See you next time.